Shalom. I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right? Shalom, brothers. Hey, I'm in Joshua 5 and 13. And it's dealing with, I normally don't take on some of the Old Testament is a little bit for me tougher to break down. So I don't take on certain things in the Old Testament. But I'm gonna break Lord's will to break Joshua 5, and I'm gonna start at 13. And I'm gonna read into chapter 6. And it's just going into showing the power that we have, our people, when we have actually are doing it the right way. You see, when we're following the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai as a nation, as a people, in numbers. You see, and just what kind of power we have when if our whole nation could repent, we have power. See, but it's the 2/3 they're a hindrance. They're gonna hold the nation back because they don't believe, right? So let's get this. Joshua 5 and 13. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us, or for our adversaries? Right? So he's seeing a man, and let me read that again. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. Joshua went unto him and said, Art thou for us, or for our adversaries? So he saw this man with his sword drawn out, right? Like ready to, war. So let's read it. And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of Yahweh am I now come. See, so he was an angel. See, he was an angel. That's what Joshua saw, was an angel with a sword. He said, Nay, I'm coming from the captain of the host of Yahweh. All right. So a host is an army. All right. So he's the captain of the army of Yahweh, is what he tells him. Am I now come? And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant? See? So he knew it was an angel, the man, all right? And this is right after, as a nation, we circumcised ourselves. We spiritually and physically in the time of Joshua, you see? Our people were out of the wilderness, you see? And the generation of Moses never inherited the promised land because they turned out to be wicked, So it was Joshua's generation of Israel that seen the promised land, right? That entered into the promised land. So then Joshua basically was getting everybody in line, he was being taught the laws, statutes, regrouping, if you will. You see, he was regrouping the nation of Israel. He started out with the circumcision. All right, and this is right after he did that. This is when he sees that angel with the man with the sword. So I'm gonna keep reading. And the captain of Yahweh's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. See, so the elect have an ability. If you see an angel, you can recognize it. So Joshua wasn't questioning who the man was at this point. He was just did what he told him. See, verse 6 or chapter 6. Let me see. Wait, where am I at? Okay. Let me go to chapter 6. Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the sons of Israel. None went out and none came in. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, See, I have given into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor, and ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once. Thou shalt do 6 days. Alright? So Yahweh is telling him through the angel, he's saying, I've given you this city. Now you guys, what I want you to do is compass the city, meaning go around the city, because they had city walls, right? That's why you hear about the story of the walls of Jericho. That's what we're reading about. See, this is the walls of Jericho. But Yahweh, through his angel, he said, hey, compass the city. Let's keep reading. Verse 3, And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. So one time around for 6 days. And verse 4, And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of rams' horns, and the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow the trumpets. So now he said, hey, go around the city on the 7th day, go around 7 times, and then have the priests blow the trumpets. Okay, verse 5. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up every man straight before him. Okay, so those are specific directions, right? Verse 6, And Joshua the son of Nun called the priests, and said unto them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of the ram's horns before the ark of Yahweh. And he said unto the people, Pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of Yahweh. So it's spiritual. The men were passing right past the ark of the covenant, basically. See? So we would walk past that yard, and it was a spiritual thing. You walk past the ark of the covenant, and Yahweh's giving you it's like in a video game, you would get supercharged power, You would get your life would come all the way back 100%. Spiritual, you see? Verse 8. And it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests, bearing the 7 trumpets of the ram's horns, passed on before Yahweh, and blew the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of Yahweh followed them. And the armed men went before the priests that blew the trumpets, and the reward came after the ark of the priests going on and blowing the trumpets. Verse 10. And Joshua had commanded, so they did what they were told to do, right? And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, Ye shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth until the day that I bid you shout, then shall ye shout, right? So he's like, don't fuck this thing up. Don't shout until I tell you. See? Verse 11. So the ark of Yahweh compassed the city, going about it once, and they came into the camp and lodged in camp. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of Yahweh. Alright? So, hey, it's almost coming to pass, right? It's almost time. Joshua woke up early that day, right? Let's keep reading. Verse 13. And 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on continually and blew with the trumpets. And the armed men went before them, but the reward came after the ark of Yahweh, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. See? So the same thing, the same routine. The second day, they compassed the city once and returned into the camp, so they did 6 days. So just like they were told, go one time around the city, make sure the soldiers all pass the Ark of the Covenant, and the priests are blowing the horns. Let's keep reading. And remember, this is right after our nation was being circumcised as a nation. So now that's what was happening. We're trying to circumcise the elect, right? The 1/3. It's a spiritual thing. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priest blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, Shout, for Yahweh hath given you the city. Alright? So Did I read 15 where they went around the city 7 times? Let me read it again. And verse 15, and it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. Remember, they were told on the 7th day go around 7 times. So that's what they did. And then verse 16, it came to pass at the 7th time when the priests blew with the trumpets, Joshua said to the people, shout, for Yahweh hath given you the city. There it is. The Spirit jumped on him after that 7th time compassing the city. All the Israelites shouted, right? And in verse 17, and the city shall be accursed, even it, and all that are therein to Yahweh. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. Remember, Rahab the harlot, which is a prostitute, a whore. You see, in Christianity, people would be like, oh, no, hell no, we ain't going to, whores can't get salvation, But in the truth, you see, we're reading about a whore being spared because of her righteousness, see? Don't get me wrong, and I'm not telling you it's righteous to be a whore, but this woman did a very righteous thing in the eyes of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, caused her to be spared in this story, all right? Because she hid the messengers, the spies, all right, of Israel. Let's see, verse 18. And ye in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest ye make yourselves accursed when ye take of the accursed thing and make the camp of Israel a curse and trouble it. But all the silver and gold and the vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto Yahweh. They shall come into the treasury of Yahweh. So the people shouted when the priests blew the trumpets, and it came to pass when the people heard the sound of the trumpet. So lucky the music stopped. Let's see. Anyway, let me see what's going on with that. So okay, so now that's when the people shouted, and the great shout, and the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up. So lucky. So the people, I'm going to read it again, verse 20. So the people shouted when the priest blew the trumpets, and it came to pass when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, that the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. See? So our people, we got circumcised as a nation, and then we followed the directions, followed the instruction of Yahweh. And so what happened? We were able to do this great thing, man. Just by shouting, the walls of Jericho fell down, see? And we were able to take the city. And I'm not going to get into the rest of the story just for the sake of time, but you see, when we come together as a nation, in the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, we have power, you see? City walls fell down just at a shout. Why? Because it was ordained by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Alright? So with that, I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.